There is no other way. That is what Kolu said. Briefly, I was on, what do you call it? I was on my Facebook yesterday. And then one of those, the usual living in denial, unity beggar, Aslika, and the rest of them like that. One of them now said, Mayegun, you can cry and cry. You will cry for 8 years. And I was actually in my car. You know, sometimes when I'm in my car, I'll go live on Facebook so that to show those who are in Nigeria that where I live is not heaven. It's not being governed by angels. Okay? Provision of basic amenities is to the beneficiary of all, not just the rich or the poor. So I do show that. And I go, they had my own, what do you call it? Ekwe to eat once in a while. I'm adding the ekwe to those who have made Nigeria what Nigeria is, and they have turned Nigerians to what they are. So I was in my brand new Akana 2023 brand new car. That's what I drive. Let me brag about it, okay? Don't take any offense because of what I'm about to tell you. I drive 2023 brand new car, okay? And I live in a country that is sane. However, me now kind of sharing all of that to say, sure, we don't deserve this, sure, do we not deserve good roads in Nigeria? Do we not deserve, a clean environment there? Do we not deserve this better standard of living? Must you be rich before you can actually live? So somebody now said, continue to cry. Now, so you go cry for 8 years. And I said, Baba, even though we know that the destruction that these guys have done on Nigeria and on Nigerians have made a lot of you mentally deranged, etiyawiri. But sometimes I do ask myself, that are you actually happy? You are happy with the way you are living in Nigeria? Are you happy that way? Like, it's fine, it's okay. And I said, if there is anything to make you understand that your life generally, or whatever is happening to you, it's not because you are a sinner. It's not because you don't know God. It's not because of all those rubbish they've told you as reasons why your life is what it is right now there. I said, if you want to have a clearer proof that Nigeria is only because they born you in Nigeria and they raise you in Nigeria and you are still living in that Nigeria, and that is why all you have known is what? It go better, it go better, it go better, and it may never be better because it will never be better. I said, if you want to understand that difference, that Nigeria is the reason why your life, the way they are running Nigeria is the reason why your life is what it is. I'm talking to those of you watching me from Nigeria right now. If somebody tells you the village people are the ones who are kind of after your life, who are the ones who are making you poorer, they make you lost your businesses, they didn't let you grow, and you need to pray harder. Emi Mayegun General should be a very good testimony to tell you that Nigeria, and those running Nigeria, they have always been after your lives, after our lives. I am a very good example of that. When I got to the UK, I wasn't happy. Like, thank God I'm in London. No, I wasn't like that. Because I was angry, very angry inside me. And my anger is the fact that it took me 28 years of my life before I could see the other side of life, another part of the world that is not run and operated the same way these guys are ruining Nigeria and ruining lives too in Nigeria. I was angry. I was angry. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what gave birth to Mayegun's Diary Politico 11 years ago. And I'm still here, waxing stronger. And somehow, for those who will tell you my story very well, I remember this, I remember that. Of course you do. And now you have seen the progress so much and the opportunity that I have been given simply because of where I am living. Even when the color of my skin could have been a problem, but the opportunity there is there. It's just there for you if you are willing to pay the price. I did. Right before your eyes, I dey buy keke 30 pounds, Sunday market, keke 40 pounds. When they steal my keke, and when I'm on my keke, my bicycle, I will be showing people around. Shey we no deserve this ni? Don't we deserve that ni? What is wrong with the rulers of Nigeria? Now Ogun go kill them. Now I have always been like this on my bicycle. And majority of all these crumb eaters, crumb chasers, ass lickers, all risers from Nigeria, they've always been telling me, come back home. If them born you well, come back home. As they were destroying their lives and sending more and more of them out of Nigeria, escaping from Nigeria, and more of them being drenched in poverty, being drenched in so many other mysteries that these guys have unleashed on you. You saw me grow, to what I am today. Mayegun General, still on your very face, on your screen, on your devices, still telling you, if you continue to defend these criminals, you will remain stagnant. Your children will remain stagnant. No amount of prayer can take you out of that. I've had some of these ashiris at a point. They went on social media and they said, this was about 6-7 years ago. You, this Mayegun, it be like say they need to teach you a lesson. You don't know Abi. You are not afraid of your life, Abi. You are not kiniko. You better wash your mouth. People were telling me all of that. I think one of the things that converted a lot of you to Mayegun's Diary Political is the fact that I managed to demystify some of those myths and nonsense that they do say. That when you have a chance, speak your mind. You don't know who you could be motivating. And if you could motivate a lot of people to believe like you might be saving a generation. And that's why I'm on this. So in 2023, Mayegun, this Mayegun that you know now, you are still there saying Mayegun will cry for 8 years. APC stole 8 years of your life. These criminals have stolen 24 years of our lives. So how old are you that you are typing from Ajangba? They are from where? Unewi abi, from Jibia abi, Bonikano, telling me that I will cry. Monk, I am crying inside a brand new car right before your very eyes. And I'm reading out numbers of the lives that during that same period that these criminals have ruined, killed, destroyed. And you think the cry is all about myself? Me? It's all right. Let's go to Chicago. Right now, as you are watching this video, the Chicago State University has released Tinubu's records. And from what we have been told, Atifu's lawyers are now sorting all of the documents they've been given, the records. AK, thank you very much, by the way, for your generosity. That's a lot. Thank you. You know something, one of the things to tell you that I have come a very long way. And I have had people who have seen value in this, and repeatedly they've kind of said that. All right, and I do appreciate every one of you that actually made this. You know, they say people make Glasgow. I would say people make Mayegun. So when they say, who are your financiers? Who are your sponsors? Who they sponsor you? And I'm like, if you want to know those who are sponsoring Mayegun, just come on to Mayegun's Diary Political and meet the member, the brethren on this platform. And then you understand why and where Mayegun's confidence always comes from, and why it will probably take a trip to hell and back for Mayegun to compromise. A contented young man who has also conquered greed. I am grateful to God for my life and for the people around me. So if you want to see those who are sponsoring Mayegun, just come on to Mayegun's Diary Political and see people who are doing things, supporting Mayegun in on their own volition, from the position of conviction. I'm going to support this guy. No, this guy is great. No, he's doing a great job and all that. And the reason why your criminal politicians will never even dream of reaching out to somebody like me. You understand? And if you don't, you are going to understand. So people like AK and the rest of everyone from all this platform across Nigeria and across the world invested in this Mayegun. Do you understand? And the earlier the better for a lot of you to take an advantage of a calling that is telling you, if you really value your lives, if you value, probably if you do value your future of that of your children, it is time to stop enabling these criminals. This is absolute time to take back your own life from their own chess table, obviously, if you want to. So we have heard that they have released Corlus documents, and we are waiting to begin to dissect them one by one. So I told you before, I said we need to first be sure that Chicago State University is not planning to release documents that we already have. A lot of us already have all the documents of Tinubu, okay? But we are looking for more because they told us there are more. So we are looking for more of this that they said will shock us, and we'll give them more a few hours before we finally begin to dissect them. You can count on me on that. The Voila over certificate. Education. I have told you many times, when you go to Nigeria of today, that's the word, bankroll, not sponsor. Who are those bankrolling you, Mayegun? They don't answer you now. You see, Lord Michael is one of them. Lord Michael and the rest of those who pay their time to watch my videos, those who share my videos, those who ensure that more people are brought onto my platform, those are the people who are bankrolling me. And let me tell you something. All of you, just so you know, you have given me a platform that, except if I'm actually like so greedy, a platform that can conveniently, like as it is currently doing, conveniently put me in a very, very good stead of millionaires. You know that in Naira. So I'm like in the stead of the millionaires. You say that Mayegun is a millionaire, courtesy of those who are bankrolling him. But they don't have a clue. They have no idea. When they see Sheung Kimbaloye, when they see AIT, and they see all the people who are there talking, whatever they are talking about on their program, they'll say, where are you working? I am working at AIT. Oh, you are working for AIT. Oh, great. That's good. I'm working for Channels Television. Ladies and gentlemen, you are currently on the top, and if not the biggest, political platform from Nigeria, when you say a political platform that discusses Nigeria politics and detail, I still want to believe that there is no other one than Mayegun's Diary Political. You know that. There is no other one that actually commands enough presence like you have on Mayegun's Diary Political. So, if they ask me, Mayegun, where are you working? I am the general overseer of Mayegun's Diary Political. Go figure. So thank you very much, everyone, for that. So like I said, I do my own research. I bring my own pieces together in order for every one of us to sit together and reason and use all this information, right, to get ourselves shielded from the propaganda, the lies. I mean, they say anybody who really wants to grow, you must be willing and ready to unlearn and relearn and learn and unlearn again. That is how you grow. A lot of us have been told lies all our lives about Nigeria. We are discovering now that they've lied to us. Now, we won't feed on their lies anymore. We will debunk those lies so that those who need to hear and need to know are also brought kind of up to date. So if you have no idea what Mayegun does, probably, yeah, you should spend more time here. You should. You should. However, let's go forward again, okay? Like I said, we are waiting for the total, dissertation. I mean, a total breakdown of the Chicago info. Mind you, I told you this is October, okay? So this is October, and there's so much that is expected to happen in October, especially on Tinubu and the corrupt government of Nigeria. You see, education in Nigeria, when we were growing up, used to be something that, oh my God, they sold education to us as our ticket out of poverty. And generations after generations bought that. You need to be educated. You need to go to school. Okay? You need to be able to read and write. You need to be this and blah, 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 blah. But you see the criminals who are running Nigeria, they now brought the bar. Sorry, before you could get any good job and all of that, if you want to go and work for people, you will need to attain some certain level of education. Our poor parents also bought it. The idea of educating their children so that they will take them out of poverty. If you want to get any good job, you have to get good education. But if you want to be an elected member of parliament or the president or governor of Nigeria, of any state in Nigeria, all you need is just your primary school education. That's it. So which means they set the bar low already in order not to tempt anybody or deny anyone from attaining leadership because of their education. But Baba, over the years, this education now almost become nothing. The value for education has so dwindled that the quality of that education has also dwindled as well, reduced drastically. A lot of people are just getting educated in a way, they are not getting educated, they are going to schools just to get certificate education, or no, that's not the word I want to use. To get a paper confirmation that they went to school. 63 years of Nigeria independence. There is still no homegrown engineering firm that you can say Nigerians who are engineers are building Nigerian roads, super highways. Nigerian engineers who went to schools in Nigeria were building Nigerian railways. Nigerian engineers are building Nigerian power stations. They are building and designing them Nigeria way. Sure, you get, everywhere you go today, you will see Lebanese, you will see Chinese, You will see German. You will see Americans. You will see British. You will see Italians. You will see everyone from everywhere with the name of their own company, building roads, building bridges, building schools, building hospitals for Nigeria, building power station, building rail line that Nigerian engineers don't build. But they have a league of engineers. You need to belong to that league of Nigeria engineers. You must have connection. If you don't belong and have that certificate of league of Kineko, those engineers will come for you. You have to join them. You have to join the Association of Nigeria Engineers. Nigeria have professors that don't discover anything. Researchers that don't research and discover any new things that could actually change anything in Nigeria. 63 years. Everybody just went to school to be called professor, to be called doctor, to be called lawyers. You have lawyers who are studying law, but they are using a very, very defective constitution called 1999 constitution. None of them is bold enough to say, why are we studying law in a lawless country? They just went to school to be called lawyers, to be called doctors, to be called this. Apologies to doctors, so that one is not the same. Because doctor is a very serious one. You need to really be a doctor. Nigerian doctors are so, they're like people are looking for them all over the world. So which means they actually so I'm not going to talk about doctors that way. Though many of them will defend their own certificate. Of course, we have quack doctors. Unfortunately, some of the best hands, best trained doctors in Nigeria have been taken out of Nigeria. Now you have quacks who are now treating Nigerians who cannot even afford healthcare. But anyway, I'm just talking about people going to school just for the sake of the paper, not to add any real value to that country. So why is Kolu trying to forge certificates? Why did Kolu forge certificates? Why did he want to say he's this or that? All over the world, we have seen people who have done great things, who didn't go to university, who didn't go to school. Yes. We have seen world leaders too, who made remarkable impact on the lives of their people and their countries. They didn't go to school. They were not a professor this. They were not doctor that. They were not the bachelor of the whatever nonsense. They were not. Why is Kolu disgracing 217 million people to real long? Waiting be una offense should be the question. What did you do? Nigeria professors are rigging elections. They are not researching on how best to conduct election, free and fair election that will never be disputable. But they are ready to rig election, professors. And they'll be pretending that they are illiterate. Have you seen professors, university professors in Nigeria? They are the ones conducting elections. So, you will see professor that wrote election results. E82, thank you. And that professor will not be able to read his own result. Have you seen that before? INEC. INEC chairman is a professor too. Momodo Yakubu, Mr. Yakubu. That is the Nigeria way. You have to turn to a criminal for you to be able to kind of live in that contraption, unfortunately. And if you don't want to be a criminal, you will be the victim. That they are what? They are victimizing the ordinary Nigerian. That's what they call you. Why is Kolu disgracing Nigeria? Why is he disgracing everybody? The country that pride itself as one of the most educated, one of the country with the most educated people coming out of Africa. Brilliant minds who are doing great things outside Nigeria, all over the world. How come every one of them is currently trying to make it look like those who are trying to understand why Kolu have to lie and forge certificates when all he needed is primary school education to be your president anyway? I mean, I can be your president. Yes, I can. All I have to do is to go and bring my primary school certificate, Muslim primary school, Dogbolu. I can even add some swag to it. And not the one from Okoke Hill, Odogbolu Grammar School. I'm doing too much, Gonsef. I don't need any university. I don't need any degree. I don't need any professor. I don't need anything to be your president. Do you know that? But they no born me well. May I take my Muslim primary school certificate, go empty and say I want to apply for the position of a general manager. They won't even arrest me. No. They will call people to take me to psychiatric home to go and take care of me. This guy know well. So what do you want? I believe that I am the best candidate to be the general manager for the MTN all over Nigeria. Why? How? What do you mean how? I said I am. What? Okay. Do you have any qualification to just anyway, here is my almighty Muslim primary school Bolu certificate. So if MTN now said we really you the mad I go tell them say you self the mad I be you the crazy where is Tinubu's primary school certificate? Is he not your president? Are you mad But he lied about it. It doesn't have to lie. Or should I say it didn't have to lie? Now he has to spend millions of dollars trying to bury that lie. And they have to tell many lies. So you see, he didn't have to lie. Just tell everybody, I don't go school. Fraudster Sotobo Keyamo, a senior advocate of nuisance. Can you believe that? Son, senior advocate of nonsense and the nuisance. He said during the time of Tinubu, he was homeschooled. Any man shepe, luma pabubu te bring disgrace here upon everybody. Ogun ma pabubu yin tomo. Kuwulo no, you are not useful to anything. Oye ko gun pa yin ko waste yin ni. Ogun fun re gan, shogun fun re gan you know. Everybody lo busy lowo yin sin. Everybody don't face one hardship or the other. Somebody said that if you see every Nigerian right now, everybody is going through one or two things. But if you look at me, I am going through more than 20 things. So Ogun and everybody is busy. But anytime we Ogun less busy, cover me kill you down. He didn't have to lie. But he lied. And he's spending money to keep up other lies. But because we already said, we know that the Nigeria judiciary, Juditonshia, no evidence you bring against Kolu will be used. We want to believe that. A lot of us believe that. But others are saying, no, don't say that. Let them bring the evidence first. Tinubu's lawyers are now saying that Supreme Court will not accept any evidence from Chicago State University. Egba Mike. Iro ni pekun. Iro no dey finish. You don't turn to Supreme Court staff again as you dey work for Kolu. Una see dey work for Supreme Court ni. Now know which evidence Supreme Court will accept and which one Supreme Court will not accept. They play. I have said it. I know Atiku himself would never expect your Supreme Court to remove Tinubu, Kolu. But let them set the precedence that the Nigeria judiciary legitimize a drug lord, certificate forger, as the president of Nigeria. And the rest of the world can actually acknowledge that. We can see how that one go play out. Ironic Pekun is talking about, can you even imagine? So, like I said, we will wait for the further release so that we can begin to break them down. The issue right now is that, are you going to go on strike tomorrow or not? Last night, Bajabia Mole called the labor union. I hate these flies, man. Called the labor union to a meeting. And at that meeting, they were discussing how to avert shutting down Nigeria tomorrow, promised by NLC and TUC as their own reaction to the subsidy removal. So what's going to be the solution? Kolu said he's going to pay 25,000 naira extra for 6 months. There is no new minimum wage. But they said minimum wage of Angono, the joke is on them. So they said they will add 25,000 to salary of the lowest paid workers. And then the NLC rejected that. So Gbajabi Amole called a meeting. And at that meeting, they said, okay, we'll add 10,000 to it. And it's not just for the low paid workers. It is for all workers. On your salary next month, or this month, you are going to receive 35,000 naira extra for the next 6 months. APC, Egbekegbe, this quickly jump on social media. And they said, hey, call Tinubu has increased minimum wage to 55,000 naira. No, to 65,000 naira. Are you serious? For 6 months? That's a scam. Minimum wage. Once you sign minimum wage into law, it becomes minimum wage. Which one is you are going to give them 35,000 naira plus 30,000 naira, making it 65,000 naira, and you want to call that minimum wage for 6 months? Hey, they calm down. They quickly deleted and said, hey, okay. It's just something to give to them for 6 months. After 6 months, Inko, you're going to go back and start collecting your 20,000 naira or 30,000 naira salary, Abi? That's a scam. When are these people going to stop? Here we go. Gbajabi Amole and the, what do you call them? The NLC leaders.
Let me first of all, on behalf of government and on behalf of Labour, thank you and commend you for the long hours you've been here. It's been at closed door meetings, Labour and government side. Since 3 o'clock, we're now at 7 o'clock, so it's been a 4-hour meeting. A lot of issues were addressed. Issues that concern the Nigerian worker, the average Nigerian worker. Pertinent issues, I can't begin to drill them out here. But I am happy to say that after 4 hours, we have reached certain agreements that denote the benefit of the Nigerian worker. Agreements on the wage deal, agreements on committees, on salary increment, agreements on the CN bosses, agreement on several other things, I believe, both TUC, Labour, and government side. We will hopefully expect that Labour will call the meeting of their various branches and executive tomorrow to present the agreements that have been reached. And we pray and we believe and we hope that the strike will be called off on Tuesday. So I want to once again thank Labour for taking time out on a good Sunday like this when they should be with their family to come and discuss in the interest of the workers. Thank you very much.
Can we have some details of those?
We'll give you. The Minister of Information is here. He has all the details and he will get those things across to you. I believe the President, Labour and the acting TUC President have a word to say.
Okay.
Well, I don't have much to say than what the Chief of Staff have said. We have been meeting. We have looked at almost all the issues, all the promissory notes of the government. We looked at how to translate them to reality, and to be working. And then we are going to take those promises to our organs. Of course, we know these people here just wake up and review and follow up action. So, like he said, I hope that our organs will have a look at them and give us a fresh mandate on what next to do. It's a simple one.
Before the TUC, I must quickly clarify something that can be clarified now, and we also must thank Labour for that key observation. Twitter, there's a lot of chatter on Twitter about the issue of low income workers only falling into the category of the wage people, and they supported that, and that is, we did communicate with the President, and we quickly did say and agree that that all categories of workers will be given the wage bill. There's nothing like low income, mid income, or high income. I think that is what it like to give us tonight. Thank you.
Okay. We will work with you to build a Nigeria that is not corrupt. I bring you a message of hope.
We are going to spend a lot of resources on education.
So they were selling themselves Zobo, and they call it the meeting between the NLC and government. Bajabia Mole said people were talking on Twitter, now called X. People were talking on X, formerly Twitter. I saw some people they talk, but it will take time before we stop calling Twitter Twitter. Somebody like me, I'm old school. Now Twitter, I go see the column. So that's just by the way. They said people were talking on Twitter when they promised 25,000 naira. Remember yesterday when I said, same rogues that promised you 8,000 naira 3 months ago, and they gave you 8,000 shishi, shingbai, you know, get. They don't turn around and said they are promising 35,000 naira. So, because people were talking on Twitter, they decided to add extra 10,000 to it. Mr. President considered that people are talking on Twitter, they don't like that 25,000, Abi. What do you think, Femi? Mr. President, I think we can just add 10,000 to it. 10,000. Okay, let's add 10,000. Okay. You will tell the labor that we are going to add 10,000, Abi? Yes, I'll tell them. And I also tell the people on Twitter. So will you come back and tell me what they are saying on Twitter? I was like, yeah, I'll come back and tell you, Mr. President. Because Kolu himself, he doesn't use Twitter. Remember, he said, I know they go social media again. No, where is he again? He said, because they abuse the hell out of me. Now that's the Zobo. There is no 35,000 naira. You are not going to get the money. Okay? They want you to begin to adapt to this reality. And anything that will make you calm down for now, they go talk calm. Sure you get. Abiru life will lay. Government said they will increase your minimum, your money, your salary because of the current economic reality. That's what they said. Then they turned around and said, no, we are just going to give you some change for 6 months so that you can manage, survive for now until you find a way to solve your problem. Because as it be now, like Olu said, everything may be high. This one may be high and that one may be high. But with 35,000 naira extra, all of una go collect them. You should go and figure it out because shegele yo need solution.
The cost of fuel has gone up. Food and other prices have followed it. Households and businesses struggling. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not.
Chai!
Àtisebo, àtisete, àtisete, àti ń parọ́ tipẹ́, àtisete, òtítọ́ òdìmú òdodo òsì mọ́, àtisete, òtítẹ́, kágbọ́dé fáláre, àtisete, kágbẹ́dé fáláre, àtisete, adájọ́ ń parọ́ torí owó, àtisete, àtisete, òtìlú ń parọ́ nítorí ipò, àtisete, àtisete, èdò gbówó mìíràn, àtisete, àtisete, ètisete, àtisete, ìjàǹgà aráàlú, àtisete.
Jete, etishebo, etishete, emashete. What do you go do differently is the question they usually the Agbadorians will ask. So me, I no be obedient, so I no feel I'm not obedient, so I no feel answer them for you. But they kind of got a hold of Obi himself today, where all of these questions were thrown at him to also treat. What would you do on this issue of subsidy? What would you do on the issue of Naira? Like, what's your reaction to this Chicago State University stuff? And on and on and on, right? But before I get to that, Obi, it's the guys inside the Arise television studio. They were first in shock of something that I'm going to share now.
Chatter on Twitter.
On Twitter.
So it's chatter on Twitter that people use to make government policies, right? So now, if government says something and I get 100 people and 1,000 bots on Twitter and talk against that policy, government official will say, okay, based on chatter on Twitter, let's change it. Let's change government policy. We've become a joke.
It's a joke.
It's a bleeding joke. For Christ's sake, what nation have we built? Chatter on Twitter. For a labor matter that has been in dispute, the labor government set up a committee to jointly review on the 19th of June. Nothing came out of it. They are setting up another committee. Nothing came out of it. The president made an announcement. And who wrote that speech by saying, low grade average workers? Very derogatory tone. They can't specify the grade level. Then a couple of hours later, then they just called the president to rescind his speech and add 10,000 naira more. And they said, based on chatter on Twitter, who did this to us as a nation? What have we become? I mean, see, if you can't tell the truth because of your tribal or religious affiliation and you see a wrecking ball happen and you keep quiet, you are worse than the problem. I'm going to quote Professor Wole Soyinka, the man in you died that day. What has happened to us as a nation? For pertinent national issues that have lingered for a while, it's chatter on Twitter that make people change their mind. You took this decision without the NLC. You made a lot of other very nebulous decisions
without the NLC.
And when we speak the truth, they say, oh, it's emotional.
No, this is real.
See, you guys don't understand how dire things have become in Nigeria. We're a joke to the world. Nobody respects the giant of Africa any longer. Look at what ordinary Niger did to us. Look at what ordinary Niger did to us. And now we are seated here. We are saying, and this is the chief of staff to the president.
All right.
Chatter on Twitter.
Dr.
Please, I want the government to go and introspect and have dialogue with Labour this time around with the...
That's important. There was a lot of chatter on Twitter about the issue of low income workers only falling into the category of the wage bill, and they spotted that, and that has we did communicate with Mr. President, and he quickly did say and agree that that all categories of workers will be given the wage bill. There's nothing like low income, mid income, or high.
Nuisance lele. Nuisance lele.
You hear them? So that's the guys who were shocked that you are a joke already. Is Nigeria not a joke? It actually depends on which lens are you using, or from which lenses are you watching from. If you are watching it from the lens of, the lenses of sincerity, you can tell Nigeria is a joke. So Obi, what would you have done differently? Let's go back to that studio where Obi himself was talking about leadership, what Nigeria has become, what could have been done, and there was no reason for Tinubu forging certificate. And it is true, all over Nigeria right now, certificate forgers, bunch of recovering addicts, criminals are supersede. What do you call it? They are currently in charge of different organs of government in Nigeria today. Nigeria is done for with these guys. Let's go and ask him, Obi.
We are at a point where we are challenging the process. These are part of what makes a nation. The process through which people come into office or assume or achieve anything is far more fundamental than what they do thereafter. It is important that the people come through the right door and not just jump into through the window and start saying, okay, let's move on, let's clean it up, let's do this, and everything No. So we're challenging the process. And that has to come to a logical end before any other thing. And it has to be something that people will seemingly, that's why I said, we have to begin by doing the right things. And not doing the right things is having the right process. On issue of qualification, I never said anything with regards to improving the degree or doing this. The issue of qualification is the issue of leaders making statements, doing things that are honest and truthful. This is an issue of honor and integrity. It is the foundation on which you build society. If you look at what is happening in Nigeria today, there's so many issues of certificates, age, all sorts of one falsification or the other, all over, within the leaders. There's no way people can be doing this and be able to do the right things, because that means they live in a falsified life. And that is not good morally, and a sign it should be given to the society. There's so many great people in the world who did not go to school. And I can tell you, America today, one of the highest, or I would say the greatest president America has ever had, is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln did not go to a formal school. In fact, his entire education is less than 1 year formal education, because he came from a very extremely poor family. His education was by borrowing books and everything, which he did later. But he was able to show, if you read his history, you show that he came from a very poor home and did not have formal education. He didn't have to say he read the PhD here or he did this one here, and then there's an argument like what we're having all over Nigeria today, which is bringing the credibility of our nation into question. If you come to the UK, one of the greatest prime ministers, Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill is known to have had a poor academic record. In fact, his academic record was very bad that his father had to enlist him in the army. Even when he went to take an exam to be able to be enlisted into the British Military Academy, he sat it 3 times before he could pass. Eventually, he became a prime minister and became a great prime minister. You go to the corporate world, the biggest company we have today in terms of market value is Apple. The founder is a dropout, a school dropout. His history shows that. The second biggest company is Microsoft. At least Apple today is about 2.9, if I'm right, about 2.9 trillion company, when African GDP is about 2.9. So it's about the same thing as African GDP. The second biggest company is Microsoft, founded by Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a university dropout. It's written there. It's not, there's no question. The 4th richest person in the world, Larry Ellison, is a poor person. The mother had to give up for adoption when he was 9 months.
All right. So that's...
So you don't really have to have all the degrees in the world to be great. But you need to be honorable about your past, so we can know who exactly you are and everything. The world are bound by great people who have poor past and no education, and that forms part of their greatness.
Obi, trying to talk about doing the right thing and then not bringing the entire people of a country to this international disgrace. It be like I say those documents don't they come out small, but I'm not going to rush it. Okay? We'll come back to that on another time. All right. Here is another view concerning subsidy removal